build your temple, the Juhu Story. How many of you have read this book? Just raise your hands. Fully read this book. Okay. So you will get live, say, whatever happened, Maharaj gives you flashback in this book. Of course, it has not come back in a Hindi language, but one who is fortunate, they can read this. It's nice. Bit of glimpse in Lilamrit, but not detail. Maharaj gives here details. So before I start, I'll just offer prayers and seek blessings. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svavadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunadanvitam Tam Sadivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarumbhyascha Kripashindubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate grim Yat kripatamam hande Sri Gurum Ninatarinam Yat kripatamam hande Sri Gurum Ninatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So we are fortunate to release this book. I guess it appeared after almost like 30 years. 77 Prabhupada disappeared. I guess within 2 years back this book was published. So Maharaj is kind. So we pray to Maharaj also so that we can relish, what he went through, and So I'll read in bit, I'll be reading it at the same time. I'll wherever I can, I'll give some comments. So here, facing challenges. This is the chapter of the name, and this is the period October 1973 to January 1977. Of course, I guess this book is all that period is being covered. Okay, let's start reading. In the meantime, Prabhupada continued looking for a GBC replacement for Tamal Krishna. I am now in India. So Prabhupada is quoting this quote. I am now in India, unquote. He had written Athreya Rishi, again quote. So in my presence, another GBC may not be required. But if required in my absence, my question is whether it will be possible for you to take charge while keeping your occupation intact, unquote. As it turned out, Athreya Rishi did not come. So Prabhupada tried Karandara and Jagadish, but neither lasted more than a few weeks. Actually, here, say something like Gauravind Maharaj would say, Prabhupada books, you can just read on the surface, you can get fishes or something, But But you go deep, you get the jewels. Something like that. There's a lot to say here. I'll just comment some things. Basically, Prabhupada had one right-hand man in India. Can anyone guess who was the right-hand man of Prabhupada? Yeah. Yes. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was instrumental in even purchasing the land in Mayapur. Prabhupada did not give anyone, any other sannyasi or any Indian. He was expert. In fact, in Los Angeles, one Prabhupada disciple's son, small boy, was asking, why does Tamal get all the mercy? So, Prabhupada said he's intelligent. He's intelligent. Of course, they would call him Tamal, but he's Tamal Krishna Maharaj. But in that time, even the child was saying Tamal. So he was expert actually. In many things, Prabhupada would depend on him. But as we see, I have not gone back, but basically, somewhere 72, 75, around that time, 72, Prabhupada gave sannyas to Krishna Maharaj. And then, he went to America for preaching. But Prabhupada could not find replacement for him. That's why Prabhupada is saying, in my absence, I can manage when I'm here, but in my absence, someone is needed. That's why, he was referring to Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Then there's mention of Atre Rishi. Atre Rishi is a Prabhupada disciple who was previously GBC. He's from Iran, but he was a Grihastha. So that's why Prabhupada is mentioning occupation here. Occupation first. Normally, for a devotees, we have these three things. We need to take care of health, we need to take care of sadhana, and then seva. But for Grihasthas, Radhanand Maharaj had two more things. That is, we need to take care of our health, our sadhana, our income, make our living, give time to family, and then seva. So, Prabhupada is putting that in a very coded language, occupation first. And then, at the end of the para, Prabhupada, Maharaj is narrating, Karandara and Jagdish, they were both GBCs. So, Prabhupada tried to depend on them, but here, what we are seeing here, particularly I'll give you this one. We call culture shock from West. When people come to India, they get culture shock. How many of you have been out of India? Any one of you have been out of India here? Europe or America? America, yeah. The reason I'm asking is, I stay in London area, so I know what discipline we follow, America or European countries. Here, nothing. So, basically, I'm just give you one example. Basically, Russians, they don't believe in God. They say, for them, there's no existence of God. But this fellow came to India, and he saw all over, because there are no rules and regulations. If you see even YouTube nowadays, you will see there's lane driving, everything systems there in West. Here, nothing. He said that if India is running, it's only because of the presence of God. So he got convinced that otherwise India doesn't run like that. The point I want to drive home is that this place was infested with rats, snakes, everything here. What you are leaving heaven and earth. That's right word, Actually, that's just external word. This is more than Vaikuntha. It's SriSriRadhaRasbihari. I was fortunate to born in Bombay, but I was brought up in South, and that's it. But anyway, I feel always special, this one for this place. But point I want to drive home is that it was a very tough place to stay. Once Tamal Krishna Maharaj said that, and also one side is, it's like, one side we have this, snakes and, all rats. Hare Krishna, Rajar Prabhu. Seek the blessings of all the devotees, both online and offline. Maharaj asked me to so I'm just taking off. So one side there were rats and snakes, and there was another snake. What was that other snake? Mr. Nair. That's another black snake. He was giving another trouble. So at one point, Tamal Krishna Maharaj said to Prabhupada, we are from West. We can't take it, It's like we have become sandwich. One side black snake, another, Nayar, another is all creating problem. And here the other rat infested area. We can't concentrate on chanting. Prabhupada said, do you think I'm able to concentrate? Nothing. So we have to chant Hare Krishna and fight. That's one of the places one Prabhupada has mentioned. Why do we chant? So that we can fight. So Prabhupada himself set example for us. Otherwise, we would have never got this place. And so Prabhupada had its vision. Two places he had. Before going to America, he saw this place. Sumati Morarji, he was passed through this place. And Prabhupada decided, that's it, he got this land. And then another is Chopati. He was standing in front of Bharati Vidyabhavan and said, there should be a temple here. And that's it. So Krishna fulfills Prabhupada's, pure devotees' desires. So, Prabhupada said, this is the thing. But one thing is there, towards the end in the Leelamrit, we see that when the agreement was signed in the middle of the night with Nayar's wife, of course, that's another side. Normally, sadhus don't pray, but Prabhupada said, this fellow is going so much headache, let him get finished. So, Krishna arranged him to be, he died, Nayar. And then, of course, his wife, there were a lot of problems. You will see, it's better. I'll leave it for you to read in this one. So, after that whole agreement, Prabhupada said it was a good fight. Prabhupada released, actually. So, Prabhupada never backed down. In fact, Prabhupada, he was in New York. He was not feeling well. And then some devotees said, Prabhupada, why don't you sit in one place and translate books, and rest? Prabhupada said, I want to die like Arjuna on the battlefield. That was his mood. So, anyway, we'll go further now. And of course, all these devotees, Karandar, none of them could manage. Let's see further what's coming up. Quote. Now, Giraj Maharaj is quoting Shrutikirti Prabhu. There's one book called What is the Difficulty? It's nicely, he served Prabhupada for more than 2 years. He wrote that book, his relations. Very nice book. If you ever get chance, please read that. What is the difficulty? Okay, now he's quoting, Maharaj is quoting Shrutikirti Prabhu. Life in India was difficult, quote, unquote. Shrutikirti later remembered. Now again, Prabhupada is quoting him, Giraj Maharaj is quoting him. When devotees from the West came, they had no idea what to expect. They thought it was going to be like doing things in the West, unquote. Juhu was especially challenging. Again, quote, the battle went on for years. Devotees would come from the West to battle for the Juhu property, and before long, they were licking their wounds, devastated, and wanting to leave India. Just being in India was difficult in the early 70s, and dealing with the problems with Juhu was impossible. It's, I can easily say this one, only because of Prabhupada, we could manage this. At one point, this fellow Nayar tricked devotees, and our devotees gave up actually. Actually, a lot is there. This fellow came to Hyderabad, and all that drama went on. But Prabhupada was very, very clever, and he managed, Of course, one of the things, Prabhupada got the Deities SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple, and he wanted to make sure that, they get established. But, so it's, from West, it's not possible for them. This temperature, I've been in West for 12 years. This heat, I can tell you, even though India, Bombay, stayed for 40 years before I moved 12 years ago. It doesn't suit, to be honest. And from West, when they come, they can't take it. And with all these rats, it's very difficult. So I'll go further down. Prabhupada decided to try Bhagavan, who was the GPC for France. Quote, understand that you will be coming in about a week's time, unquote. Brahmananda wrote him, of course, I'll just read off like that. Srila Prabhupada confirmed my suggestion that you go straight to Bombay. In this connection, Srila Prabhupada said the following, Quote, so far as I have studied, there is a clique of some enemies to acquire the land and spoil the whole scheme. So we have to save ourselves. Even if there is no sanction to build further buildings, we should maintain what we have got. We should not let anyone infringe on our rights. The book distribution program must be thoroughly organized. So Prabhupada could see, even though it's Indian government, in the end, even to get permission, no objection certificate, this commissioner, this fellow was giving hard time. Being India, what's called Kirtan is nuisance, that's what this commissioner. So it took some time, to get that thing. But Prabhupada is mentioning here, the book distribution program must be thoroughly organized. Actually, Prabhupada said, if preaching goes on, management will follow like shadow. If preaching goes on, management follows like, or it's at fingertips. So this is one of the things. All the obstacles, they go away. And of course, another thing, Giraj Maharaj's time, they instituted was, I guess every Thursday, Maharaj, they would do Kirtan, because a lot of problems would come up. And on Thursday when they took Kirtan, everything would get evaporated. That's another side, preaching and, of course, Achar and Prachar. Okay, we'll go further down. On October 22, Prabhupada wrote the letter we were all waiting for, informing us that he would be returning to Juhu. Quote, regarding the construction, you should immediately begin work on all 4 of the remaining flats. The work must begin whether you have got sufficient cement or bricks or not. If you have to lay only 1 brick, then do that. I may be coming there next week, so you can prepare for that. Actually, in India, of course, I'm just speculating. I'm not sure. There was an emergency also, at some point, 1977. So there was difficulty getting things. And also a lot of cheating would go on. So, in fact, in the, Juhu Temple, Mayapur and Vrindavan, they were being funded, by book sales from outside India. Most, of course, Tamaksh Maharaj and Giraj Maharaj, others, they collected to here also. But apart from that, Prabhupada wanted, as Prabhupada put it, this is my office, Juhu, and of course, Mayapur is my place of worship, and Vrindavan is my home. So, and it actually deserves this place, its office actually. Okay, so we'll go further now. The following day, I replied. Now, here Giraj Maharaj is replying to Prabhupada's letter. Here in Bombay, we have so many different departments of activity that it is necessary to depute various devotees to different departments. Mr. Sethi has been in charge of the construction department, but as president, I have been meeting with him every day from 15 minutes to 1 hour to check step by step the progress in all of our construction activities. Mr. Sethi is personally seeing, along with Mr. Sharma, to the passing of the plans and to get the no objection certificate from the police. In addition, Mr. Sethi is engaging labor contractors and material suppliers from among friends of his who regularly work with him on his projects. We have compared the prices and quality of the goods and services Mr. Sethi is arranging from his friends with the qualities and prices of goods and services available through other life members or in the market. Sri Gaunitai ki jai, SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki jai, SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki jai. Okay. We have found that in almost every case, Mr. Sethi's quality is the best and his price is the lowest. Even after purchasing materials or taking labor, when the particular contractor or supplier comes for his bills, we take the bill to Mr. Sethi and in his presence reduce the bill even further, and then only do we pay. The final result is that we are getting very good results for very little money. Okay, I'll just comment here. Actually, to work with Indians is not a easy thing. Someone comes from West, I always tell them, make sure properly be guided. Otherwise, not only pockets, passport, everything will go off. India is that place. Of course, not everyone are like that, but, in West, people believe. And in India, people know how to cheat. Not everyone, don't misunderstand me, because that thing is common. So now, here we see no objection certificate. It's coming up. So that means we got the land, this period is when we were trying to get. That's why Prabhupada, if you relate here, even one break you put it. It's very unfortunate. I don't know what basis these fellows become commissioners. Useless buggers. I mean, sorry to use that word, but it's Kirtan is nuisance and stopping the construction. This is Sanatan. Say India is a place of Sanatan Dharma, and Prabhupada had to struggle. But anyway, as we go further down, now Krishna's arrangement, Prabhupada, and of course Giriraj Maharaj was also expert, dealing with Indians. You put Sethi, Mr. Sethi. So as we see here, he engaged different people. We got the best quality and the best price. And on the top, he would have even cut it off. In fact, Prabhupada said, you build, RadhaRasbihariTemple, I'll build you over there, place in the spiritual world. At one point, devotees asked him, Prabhupada, why don't you give Diksha? He said, no needed. I mean, say, it's for everyone needed, but Prabhupada gave special concession for some people. So that he can do that, we can't. There's one devotee, Prabhupada disciple in Vrindavan. He passed away, we would call him Dadu. So he was cooking for Radha Shamsundar and Krishna Balram. And there were hardly any cooks. He was a Bengali devotee. He was a brahmachari. And he would cook from morning till evening cooking. And while cooking, he would chant. And Prabhupada said, okay. So the point is that Prabhupada gave some concession to some people. So Prabhupada, because he built the temple, definitely Prabhupada must have given shelter. There's no doubt in it. Okay. So, yeah. We'll go further down. Mr. Sethi's devotion to your divine grace and attachment to his service seem to be growing rather than diminishing. Within a family, there may be, this is all continuing of what Giriraj Maharaj, he wrote to Prabhupada. Within a family, there may be differences of opinions, but the bond of affection between the family members prevails. Similarly, in one or two occasions, Mr. Sethi may have been disappointed with the confusion in our office, but his devotion to his work has not at all diminished. You may know that when Manasvi Prabhu left for Los Angeles, he did not properly hand over his portfolio. In addition, when he was in Bombay, he was not very willing to let the other managers know exactly what he was doing. Therefore, after he left, there was a period of confusion. Now, however, we have taken steps to organize all the files and pending matters in a very tight way so that there is no misplacing of papers or losing track of pending matters. So this is one classic example. When people come from West, they can't get along with Indians. This is one person, because they have their own set of mindset, to work. So what we call it, they feel like infringement or, interference. They think that I can do everything, but it's not everyone, knows everything. So, but anyway, once he leaves, Sethi also felt a little bit uncomfortability, but later after he left, it was good. That's why Maharaj is putting, within a family, there may be differences of opinions, but the bond of affection between the family members prevails. And also, one sannyasi said, we should cooperate for high principle. So high principle is, we have differences in terms of service, but we should go on. Now, we'll go further. Maharaj is further writing. Mr. Sethi also appreciates the problems posed by Manasvi's departure, and he is also pleased to see that we have taken steps to rectify the situation. So Maharaj made sure that, whatever there were difficulties, he managed to, clear them off. Now, next, Maharaj is further writing. The ladies who were staying in one of the office rooms have shifted to your old apartment. And by adding an additional one room to the office, the organization has become even better. So, of course, now you don't have, I guess, as far as I understand, there's no ladies ashram, but in West, it's common. We can't, but Indian culture is different, so we have to accordingly take it. Okay, then we'll read further. Maharaj is writing further. Regarding the new accommodations, they are very nice. When Gargamuni Swami and Jayatirtha Prabhu visited, we were in the process of building an additional staircase from the third floor up to the terrace. As such, workers were breaking down many of the walls, and naturally, dirt was spread in the ashram. However, certain devotees are assigned to clean the ashram every day, and the floors and bathrooms are all washed and mopped at least once a day. We have recently taken delivery of 5 big cupboards for accommodating the devotees' personal belongings and bedding. These cabinets will allow us to pick everything off the floor and keep the room neat and clean and ready for use for other activities during the day. We are also getting the necessary furnishings for your personal secretaries and your translating and editing staff so that they may work as efficiently as possible. So Maharaj is proactively making arrangements so that, say, when Prabhupada comes with the secretaries, they can concentrate more on service effectively. Okay, now Maharaj, he finished this letter. Now, he's narrating now. Prabhupada had left Vrindavan for Delhi, Calcutta, and Mayapur on September 22 and returned to Bombay on October 31st. With the first additional quarters ready, Mr. Sethi brought him for a tour. Prabhupada was extremely pleased with the progress. It was, he told Mr. Sethi, the duty of the spiritual master to provide accommodations for his disciples. Then, here, quote, and just as you are building these rooms for my disciples, here at Hare Krishna land, he said, Lord Krishna is making your rooms ready in Krishna Loka. Same thing, Of course, I did not read this, but Prabhupada made it. I can tell you, if Prabhupada says that, there's nothing, For example, I'll give you the other way around, just to make this point, drive home this point. Prabhupada said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, if someone doesn't chant 64 rounds, he's fallen, and there's no chance of going back to Godhead. Then, when Prabhupada went to America, then, he's asked devotees to chant 64 rounds. Said, they're very flickering. I've been West, I know. Even to chant 16 rounds, it's difficult for them. Then, then Prabhupada said, okay, 32 rounds. Then, minimum 16 rounds. That's it, no less than 16. But Prabhupada used the word minimum, but we are, ISKCON devotees or anyone, congregation, whoever may be, they're good at, they keep minimum 16. That's it. No, we have to raise, That's the thing, holy names as much as possible. Of course, the service, Prabhupada also said, work now, samadhi later. But if he has time, one should chant more. So, then when Prabhupada disciple asked, Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, without chanting 64 rounds, we are fallen and there is no chance of going back to Godhead. And you are saying, 16 rounds and then you can go back to Godhead. So Prabhupada said, see, my spiritual master has the key for the front door to get into the spiritual world. But I have backdoor key. From there, I'll get you inside. So it all depends. Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada mentioned in the lecture of instruction, he mentions, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. If we want to go back to Godhead, we can go back to Godhead in this. Or, just like, sometimes, while going, yogis particularly, they want to see all, who is Swargaloka and all those things, something like that. So, devotees feel, I'm chanting 16 rounds. The Maya is creating problems, but not much. Timely prasadam, not much stress, So, comfortable life. So, and then we take it, lethargic life. And it's not good. So as much as possible, one should, make it either read when you get time, Prabhupada books, or serve or chant. There's no fourth thing. Then we are giving chance for Maya to get insight. See, one thing we should always understand, even though we are staying in the temple, Maya is very strong. It can pull you out like anything. There's one Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur disciple, he gave him sannyas, his disciple. He was married. And his wife came and took him away. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he could not help it. So I'm giving a very extreme example. So no matter what, we are within the material world. So we have only two choices. Either we click to Prabhupada's lotus feet, Prabhupada, Radharasbihari, or if you're not strong, then Maya will pull us off. So choices. And of course, for that reason, Prabhupada mentions in Chaitanya Charitamrita, if we chant our 16 rounds offenselessly, by Haridas Thakur's mercy, we'll not become victim of Maya. So, yeah, of course. But we can see here, Prabhupada immediately mentioned, you are building for my disciples here, so Krishna is making rooms for you. Had the fortune, actually, Mr. Sethi came to Delhi, I was in 2000 that time, he sponsored feast. I met him over there. I could not see him here, but that's nice. Okay. Now, here, now Mr. Sethi is replying. You see, Sethi, in front of Sethi, Prabhupada mentioned this. Now, his attitude, you see, I'm quoting him, what he said, quote, I am a sinful man, unquote. Mr. Sethi replied, how can I go to Krishna Loka? He's thinking, how can he go? I'm a sinful person. Now, Prabhupada is saying, that I will see to. Prabhupada is saying, that I will see to. How you go to, that is my, business. Prabhupada assured him. Then again, Prabhupada is saying, this is not your duty. I will see that you will go to Krishna Loka. I mean, say, in very rare circumstances, Prabhupada said this. There's one Prabhupada disciple, Jayanand Prabhu. In early days, he served Prabhupada and he had cancer, he passed away. So initially Prabhupada said, if you had any desire, you will have to come back. But later on, when Prabhupada heard the situation in which he went through, Prabhupada said he has gone back to Godhead. Actually, Jayanand Prabhu was the person who engaged Jayapatak Maharaj when he came for the first time. Before he became devotee, Jayapatak Maharaj came and he was very good at engaging, he was doing Rath thing and he engaged actually. So, so that's another instance where Prabhupada said he must have gone back. But here, Prabhupada, that is my lookout. I have a contract with Krishna. So that thing is there. Now we're going further. As we were walking with Prabhupada through the building, he said, quote, Prabhupada saying, every day you must lift everything off the floor and wash the floors with a wet cloth. Now that Krishna has given us such nice facilities, we must keep them very clean. We say in English, cleanliness is next to godliness. Actually, ISKCON temples are known for one thing. You go to any other Hindu temples or anywhere, cleanliness. That thing, Prabhupada was very strict in this one. Okay, then we'll go on. By then, Bhagwan had come to assume responsibilities as GBC. And one day, he went to discuss the situation with Prabhupada to assess the challenges and consider his responses. Afterward, Prabhupada told Gargamuni the story of the thin horse. Quote, now Prabhupada is, narrating a story. In Bengal, it is said, Bada bada ghoda, gela rasatala, beta ghoda, bole kata jhala. There was a great overflowing river. Many big horses tried to cross, but they were swept away by the strong current. And one lean and thin horse came and asked, quote, can you tell me how much water is there? Unquote. In effect, Prabhupada was saying that so many big GBCs had come and been swept away, and this little Bhagwan Das was asking how formidable the challenges were. Prabhupada was literally little making of mockery, because his name was Bhagwan. He was GBC in, Europe, Of course, now he's no more GBC. But Prabhupada was making fun of him, All the big horses, they swam, and this fellow came, lean and thin horse, and he's asking, In fact, Prabhupada said, big monkeys, big bellies, silan jumping Belankali. Means, sometimes, ISKCON, they were big leaders. But when it came to, particularly this challenge of Juhu, none of them could survive. Only Prabhupada could manage. Otherwise, we would have never got this place. So, that thing is there. Okay. So, in this talk with Gargamuni, Prabhupada discussed the frailties of all his leaders in Bombay, including me. He said that I was a lucky traveler or a coolie at the train station who very carefully places all his belongings in a cloth but doesn't tie the cloth properly. So when he picks it up, all the things fall out. In the same way, he said, Giriraj collects profusely, but he doesn't take care to see that the money is not wasted. Say, Prabhupada, Maharaj very, in humble ways presenting. Actually, to deal with Indians is not a joke. So, particularly in Vrindavan, devotees were getting cheated, when the construction was going on, in Vrindavan. So, what they would do, one devotee came and asked Prabhupada, Indians mostly they cheat Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, because you want to cheat Krishna. And that fellow was a little bit taken back. Prabhupada, we are trying to serve Krishna, and then you are saying, Prabhupada said, you have intelligence, take quotations, look for the product, nice, quality and all those things. But you think, you chant Hare Krishna, everything is my headache and Krishna's. So, because you want to cheat Krishna, that's why Krishna is sending cheaters. So, the point I want to drive home is that, it's, unless we do some homework, we get cheated. That's one side. Another side, Prabhupada said, what's the word he used? But basically, right here, he was sending a check from here to Vrindavan when, for the construction, Surabhi Swami, so he asked, the check has to go there and then it has to be collected, by courier, it takes some extra money for rickshaw like that, So Prabhupada said, I'll rather put it in a bank. You got me? But anyway, Prabhupada was very, very frugal. I want to make the point is that Prabhupada would always calculate, even, sometimes behind, envelope, other side he would write and send it. Prabhupada was very, very frugal, and he would keep bookkeeping. This is one of the things, Prabhupada, what he spent, everything. He was not accountable for anyone, but still, he would keep bookkeeping. That thing we learned from Prabhupada. And that's one word he used. Basically, this Western mentality is that from West when they come, they calculate in terms of dollar and pound, it's rickshaw is, it's, if it costs 5 rupees, and as soon as they see white skin body, they say 50 rupees. And this fellow thinks, just, less than $1. But in West, it's $5. This is how their, calculation. So, Prabhupada would say, you can't, And of course, in one instance, Prabhupada said, Indians, are, this one, tricky fellows. And do you know, I also tricked you, Prabhupada said. I got you here, So Prabhupada said, that was transcendental trick, So, Prabhupada accepted that thing, and at the same time, of course, he engaged them in Krishna service. We'll go further. And then he continued, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay. So, perfectly imitating my loud, distinctive way of chanting. Prabhupada was imitating, Giriraj Maharaj. This is one of the things. Prabhupada said, when we chant the holy name, it should be, loud, distinctive, clear, at least, not snake, Ram, Ram, snake, Ram, Ram, all these things come up, or, submarine japa, we call it, somewhere, I don't know, we have in Delhi temple, I remember, they go behind the temple, we have a little bit backside, dark, sometimes sleep, sometimes awake, submarine japa, or radar japa, we call it, go around all over sea, particularly if you go out, walk, see billboards, everything. So, but Maharaj is nicely setting example. And also, Prabhupada said, Giriraj Maharaj quotes Prabhupada that when we keep Prabhupada the japa like that, during japa time, we should be able to hear our chanting. Not that, Prabhupada chants and, we keep our thing low. But anyway, I'm just sharing because this thing has come up. We'll go further down. When Gargamuni related to me what Prabhupada had said, I was astonished. Prabhupada always seemed to so pure and innocent, almost childlike. I did not imagine that he saw our weaknesses or idiosyncrasies so clearly and accurately, and I certainly never expect that if he did not see them, he would discuss them with someone else. But later, upon further reflection, I considered that Prabhupada knew that Gargamuni would tell us what he had said, and therefore, in a very indirect, thus gentler way, he would instruct and correct us. This is the art of management, we call it. Prabhupada said, catch fish without wetting the hand. So, so he wanted to convey, but actually Gargamuni is another name. Does anyone of you know? Prabhupada said, Garga money. He was good at business, There was Kirtananda, of course he passed away, Kichanananda. Because our religion, we call it in West, we call it kitchen religion. So Prabhupada engaged him and, got it corrected. Actually, it's there said in, Shastra, if the mother-in-law wants to teach daughter-in-law, she teaches daughter. The same way, Prabhupada, so directly telling, eating, he indirectly put it so that it message goes, so that they become more and more, careful. Actually, Giriraj Maharaj did a lot of service here. Now, I will say, initial days up to that, of course, later also, a lot of old people, they remember Maharaj. I guess we have 5 more minutes, we'll read one more para maximum. Sometimes Bhagavan would accompany me when I met important people I was cultivating to contribute to the Juhu project. And my interactions with them seemed so smooth and easy that Bhagavan thought he could do the same thing. Finally, one day I let him speak to a wealthy Sindhi businessman, but somehow he said all the wrong things, and the gentleman became very upset and angry, and had to intervene to pacify him. This is the thing. Not, actually sometimes Giriraj Maharaj and Tamalksha Maharaj would go together for collection. And Tamalksha was heavy. And one time, this is in, South Mumbai area, somewhere in the lanes, inside you have to go, Tamalksha Maharaj said, where are you getting me here? And the place was pitted, with pan and all the things, dark place. And Tamalksha Maharaj said, what are you going to get here? But Giriraj Maharaj was, he knew, who is there. He went there, this fellow, and he was, that fellow was big man, but he said that, I have the money, but everything I transferred on my son's name. He was trying to escape. But then both of them, managed to get it and got donation. Another person we see is this Birla. Giriraj Maharaj at the time, we did not have all this facility. So he would go for fundraising, collection. So the securities would send him off Maharaj outside, they would not allow him. So once, one I guess one Marwadi, I don't remember his name. This fellow said, I'll give you my car, my driver, and petrol or diesel for one day. You can take it. And Maharaj thought, why not take advantage? So Maharaj got into it, straight away got into Birla's house. Everyone, salute and, got inside, and then they started cultivating. And then later stages, as far as I know, and Maharaj was not asking anything. This is another thing, fundraising. We don't, say, immediately ask money, we, cultivate. And he was giving a lot of gifts and everything. And then one day when time had come, I guess that Gurukul building, if I'm right, Rajapu, he sponsored. That's what I was, that whole building. Oh, I'm sorry. I was told like that. But something, he sponsored, a big donation he gave. I guess, oh, sorry. Some other donor, I'm sorry, I take back my words, but some other donor, he cultivated, but basically he was not being allowed inside. And then later on, he cultivated and got a big donation. That much I can tell you. Actually, I'm not from this place, but we just hear. It's always good to cross-check before you speak. But anyway, the point I want to say is that, this is one side. Another side is that we have experience when Westerners come, because we have this demigod worship in India. So it's a gradual process. So we should not go and hit them. But most of the times, people from West, they would come and hit. Even Giriraj Maharaj would have arguments with one person in Chennai, because there in South, Shiva worship, Vishnu worship, always. So the point I want to drive home is that it's better, leave them. It takes time, slowly, they'll come to the fold. But right in the beginning, you try to chop it, it's, not good, But gradually it will come. So we have to have that patience. Of course, we should not compromise, but at the same time, give them a chance. So this is one of the places they get fried, Indians, even in West. That's why Prabhupada, he said that, which is good, Jesus worship or Kali worship? Can anyone guess what Prabhupada said? Which one is better? Why? It's empty? Is it empty? Kali means empty. No, I'm just joking. Why Kali worship? Why is it so? You're right. Yeah, it's Vedic culture. So somewhere they'll get connected. Even before coming to ISKCON, we were going to, all demigod temples. But, slowly, Prabhupada's grace, Vaishnava's grace, we came to ISKCON. So they will come. So let's not disturb them, It's part of Vedic culture. It all depends on the presentation. Some people, they need logic. You have to present logically. Some people scripturally. Some people sentimentally. Leave them. Let them take their time. Time will, so like that. So it's 9 o'clock now. Thanks so much. I was here, all of your mercy. So I thought something I should give. And Maharaj, Krishna inspired, so I said, okay, just take the chance and serve the devotees. Thanks so much. Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada ki jai. SriRadhaRasbihariTemple. Shri Gonitai ki jai. Shri Hनुमान की जय।